that. Drop that. What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Not Bland Show here on Monday as we talk our NFL Week 7 recap and reactions. A lot of stuff going on in the NFL this weekend. A lot of interesting wins, surprise losses, um, bad refereeing. Everything on the spectrum here we've had for the NFL. And again, we have two games tonight. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be taking on the Detroit Lions. Detroit 4-2, Tampa Bay 5-1 coming into this game. That will be at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, and then you will have the 10 o'clock variety of the ESPN Monday Night Football, and that will be Houston and Seattle at 10 o'clock. That's for the West Coast people. So Juan Gomez says, you think Goff, he could. Like I said, I think this has the ability to be a shootout. You could the good teams that have the amount of weapons that the Lions have, Juan, is this is the mantra is you can't stop them, but you can only contain them. So they're going to eat. The question is, when you get inside the 15-yard line, can you keep them out? I don't think that they're going to keep them out very much. They're going to get their points. The question is, who's going to have the ball in their hands last and have the ability to go down with that last chance in the fourth quarter to score some points, and it has to be a touchdown. So that I think is what is the worry. If you're concerned about him getting points, I don't think you're worried about that at all. I played Baker today as well because I just think he's going to get his points regardless. So, Victor, I've gotten that a lot. I've had people say I look like Tyler, the creator, and sound like him too. So, yeah, and he does kind of look. Yeah, I do kind of look like him. And I guess I do sound like him. But thank you. I appreciate it, and hope you guys love the show here. Again, we are on TikTok. They are doing their thing on the TikTok, and they don't have the commercials you guys have, but we got to pay some bills here. So before we get into it, we're going to go ahead and pay some bills. As you know, we are sponsored by Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It is a drag racing bracket game where each and every week you get to pick your drivers all the way in each class, all the way to the end of who you think is going to win. If you do that correctly, you have the ability to win free prizes. If you look in the back there, you TikTokers, you see that there. I'll point right there is a plaque. If you guys see it over here, that right there is a plaque. And you win that for free. Sometimes the sponsors give out gift bags and goodies and things of that nature. Summit has done so. Jegs has done so. So it's really really cool stuff. And again, you sign up for free, you win for free. I mean, there's not many places doing that, right? Uh, I will answer that, Dylan, when we come back from the break. We're going to take a break for our sponsor, and after that, we'll get right into what is and what has been Week 7 of the NFL.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Here we are, back from the break, and man, what a Week 7 we had. And I'll start off with the team that me and Showtime didn't think, no problem, Dylan, we didn't think we're going to be looking that good at all in their game. And boy, did they ever get us with that one. The Indianapolis Colts beat the Los Angeles Chargers 35-24. And I'm going to tell you, did not see that coming. Not with the way that the Chargers have been running the football. They've been running the football quite well. They've been pretty balanced. They were pretty balanced throughout these first couple of games here. And man, the Colts just did a really good job of handling this football team. A total of 54 yards on the ground for the Los Angeles Chargers. You don't win ball games like that. Now they cooked. Two guys cooked in the passing game. You had Gadsden with 164 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 11 catches, 119 and a touchdown. They had 3 receiving touchdowns on the day. Quentin Johnston was able to get 1 touchdown as well. Only targeted twice though, but it wasn't enough. Danny Dimes, 23 of 34, 288, 67% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 1 time. That's the key. And they were able to establish the run. And I think that was the difference in the ball game. You've got Taylor, Abdullah contributed a little bit. Jones took off 5 times. He was able to get 7 yards on the day, but 94 yards, 16 carries, 3 touchdowns for Taylor, 23 carries total, 128 yards and 3 touchdowns for the team. Excellent work. It's how you wear down the Chargers, and it's putting the onus on the defense, making them work. And when you make them work, it's going to tire them out. And when you have an issue on offense, of sustaining offense, it usually doesn't work in your favor. Shout out to Daniel Jones. Through Week 7, the man's playing very good football. And you want to give the coaching staff a lot of credit. They understand Daniel Jones' weaknesses, and they stayed away from those. And that's what's going to be important if you want to win ball games here within the league, as tough as it is and as tight as it is. So, good game for them. Very, very, very disappointed for the Chargers, but some days you just get beat, and that's just all it is to it. Jacksonville Jaguars, man, that first game in London, Wembley Stadium. Jacksonville has a problem, ladies and gentlemen. That problem is penalties, a quarterback that is not progressing, but in some ways regressing, and inconsistencies in the wide receiver position, especially the guy you drafted, Brian Thomas Jr. The guy has like cement for hands. He was targeted 7 times, caught 3 of them. 44% complete passer, 40% catch rate. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. I wrote a story about it. You can find that on sportsjourney.com. I am the director of content for that. And man, this team has a lot of potential, does Jacksonville. I'll get to your uh, Brady. I'll get there to your question or your statement there in just a minute. Um, this team has a lot of potential. I think they are built out in the running game. They have a lot of players there that are very capable of running the football and providing them balance. They have capable wide receivers that can make plays, and including tight ends that make plays. The problem is, though, is that your quarterback is just absolutely the most inaccurate part of your team. Some weeks he looks good. Some weeks he doesn't look so good. And this week, there's a lot of missed throws, overthrows, underthrows on important third downs, fourth downs. Uh, Not very good. Niners Buff says Niners, baby. And yeah, big game on Sunday night. Way to get a win over a team that looked to come in and be pretty hot. We'll get to that. Um, they were dominated in every phase. And don't get me wrong, I think the Rams are the better football team in that matchup there in London. But listen to some stats here. So they are 31st or 32nd in the league when it comes down to penalties. They receive 9.3 penalties per game. Over 7 games, they have been penalized 65 times for a whopping 528 yards. That is near the bottom of the league. And when you can't be disciplined, whether it's offensively or defensively, you can't have success. It puts you in long down and distance situations. And when you have a quarterback that's, in my opinion, kind of regressing here, has all the physical tools, but is very hesitant to pull the trigger when necessary, very hesitant in being able to throw guys open. You can't wait for the guy to get up. Sometimes you got to throw a guy open. And when he does try to throw a guy open, he overthrows the guy. Whether it's, sometimes I see it and it's bad mechanics and bad footwork. And that stuff's not going to win you ball games. And as long as he is going to be inconsistent, that football team is going to be inconsistent. But I believe they have all the pieces, and I believe Liam Cohen is the right coach to handle and win ball games for them. They've just got to clean that stuff up. Those amount of penalties per game, they had 13 penalties in this game for 119 yards. Yes, Trevor Lawrence. He's got to do better, and they've got to cut down on the penalties. It's killing this football team. And it's causing and making things harder than it needs to be. But Trevor's got to play better. And his wide receivers have to catch better. As a total, that's including wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. 41.8% catch rate. They have only caught 27 of 55 targets. That's total. What I talked about. Total. That's not good. Under 50% is not good. That's not going to win your ball games. Against good teams, it's not going to win your ball games. And they played a really good team in the Los Angeles Rams, and those problems will continue to get them beat if they cannot clean those up. That's the bottom line. Period. We're going to go ahead, and since someone touched on it here, the 49ers played the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. This just comes down to a team that's better coached. Team is just better coached. Thank you for getting your daily heartbeat. I appreciate it. That's what the bottom line is. This team is better coached, and it showed up in the most critical moments. They were only able to muster up 10 points, got 7 points in that third quarter, but that was pretty much it. Blanked in the first quarter, both teams were, and blanked in the fourth quarter. Atlanta's got to find a way to be more consistent, and I think 49ers fans should feel really good right now. you have a team that's dealing with a ton of injuries, and that's not an excuse because there's a lot of teams dealing with them. But it's also how you overcome those injuries. And when you have an injury at the quarterback position, it's very, very savvy of your coach to invest in a guy like a Mac Jones to come in and make sure you have a reliable backup. Most teams do not have that. I'm pretty sure it's probably about 5 teams that you could count that have a reliable backup that can go out and win your ball games while your starter is sitting the bench and getting rested or getting well. That is a lost art in this football realm. Very lost. And thanks, Jackie. That was you with the Daily Heartbeat. Thank you. So when you don't have a quality backup, it really puts a strain on your coaching staff and offense. And you guys, as 49er fans, have seen the benefit of having a quality backup that can go out and win your ball games. And they've been doing just that. Gritty, got Kittles and Bits back. That's important. And Niner Buff said the same thing. Backup player step up is a key and big, and it is. Kittles and Bits came back. That's huge. Gives him another target. And I didn't think he was going to be too effective, but him being out there on the football field, he had 2 targets, didn't get any catches, but him being out on the football field, you have to give him attention. You can't just decide not to take care of him and be mindful of where he is. Niner Buff says Kittle and Jennings blocking juiced the running game. It did, and people don't think about that. Wide receivers play a big role in blocking, and they're doing an excellent job of doing that, providing holes for McCaffrey to run through, and it's been good. It's been good, and I hear my man L.A. Knight. Thank you. Thanks for the roses. I appreciate it. And thanks for liking the live. You guys are really in a good spot, though. And I think this is going to be a team that is going to be tough all year. And as they start getting their pieces back and they start getting back into football shape, I think this team could be dangerous. Probably the better team in their division, I think we'll say in the NFC West. They're one of the better teams. They're going to have the Rams, and that's probably going to be a back and forth thing here, a duo, if you will, in who's going to win this division. Seattle is also trying to make a name for themselves, and we'll see what they do tonight. If they win tonight, you have a 3-way tie for first place. All 3 teams are 5-2 at the moment, or would be 5-2 at the moment, and it's probably going to be a 3-way battle. I mean, Seattle's pretty gritty. You're starting to see that defense play well, kind of play that Mike McDonald style of what he liked and what he used in Baltimore. And Sam Darnold just continues to progress and play good quarterback. And that's what you need. That's what's important. And with all these teams having solid quarterback play, it's going to get real interesting here. Could go up and maybe probably are the best division in the NFC, or you know what I mean? So going to be cool to see and cool to watch here and see what happens here in this division. Take a little bit of a break. We're talking about teams, and I'm going to talk about this officiating deal. Penalties that have been thrown and called, and we still have a misunderstanding here. And I said it earlier before we went live here on TikTok. We went live here on TikTok first before we went live here on all our other platforms here. There is something that one of my followers said on the artist formerly known as, and he said, wildly subjective rules aren't rules at all, but opportunity for favoritism. And I think we're seeing a lot of favoritism. We're seeing a lot also of misunderstanding of rules. I'll go back to the Dallas game. First pass interference was on George Pickens. I thought that Lattimore played great coverage. You got the company man in the booth, Mr. Tom Brady, talking about he didn't get his head around. I have no idea what the heck he was watching. Lattimore had his head around. He saw the ball. That's why he was able to make a play on it in the fashion that he did. They call it pass interference. That's not a pass interference. Then we go a couple plays down the road. We see the same exact thing, but there's no flag called. That was on Washington's wide receiver. Same play, same style, same outcome. And really, his was a pass interference, but no call. Then we get further down the road. I think it's fourth down. Ball's going to Chosen, I believe. It was a great play. He didn't get there early. He didn't pull on the jersey. I called it a makeup call, and I believe they called that pass interference to make it up. What's up, Real Lil? What's going on, man? Yeah, trying to do this TikTok thing the right way, man. Doing some special stuff over here, and right now we're live on our other platforms, and this is no commercial break over here platform here for TikTok. So loving the people in the chat and providing comments and questions. You guys are greatly appreciated there on TikTok. Josh says, I need Barner for 12.5 half PPR. Pray for me. I have a couple needs too. And hopefully those needs are met. We want definitely trying to win. You know what I mean? Trying to win. Keep imagining if Bosa and Warner were healthy. Yeah, what it could be. And it's really unfortunate. Fred Warner is like my dynasty linebacker. Had to make a switch there. It's awful to see what happened to him, but that's the name of the game here in the NFL. Injuries sometimes are not a matter of when. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. Unfortunately, and some guys are able to avoid the injury bug, and sometimes you're not. And that's just the nature of this league. But I think also you guys should be thankful that the team is continuing to ball and continue to play there. Thanks for closing out our gift gold there. Showtime did that. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. But this officiating has got to get cleaned up. And again, we say this every year, talking about the officiating getting cleaned up, and we're talking about the same things that continue to happen. A lot of people are on the wagon of sometimes this stuff is rigged, and the NFL doesn't do anything about it to refute that by handling these situations that are the novice fan knows that was not the right call. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You're a $1 billion industry and we can't get the calls right. Let's see, who is that? Kobe Bryant. 303 says, what do you think about Joe Burrow trying to be back in December? I think Joe Burrow should take his time. And if his health dictates that, then sure, he should be back in December. If there's any question, he just needs to sit out. Look at Deion Sanders and his dealing with turf toe. That's all you need, especially late in his career. The people don't realize how much Prime was playing through, turf toe late in his career. They don't. And that stuff can linger. It's no different than pulled hamstrings. You want to give those the proper rest and work your way back in. You rush back out there, you're likely to pull them again, and then you're dealing with it all season, and then it starts to filter into the off season, and then you're not ready for camp. Like, it can be serious. I mean, guys, as strong as they are, these muscles are, ripped and they're not flexible. They're very built, and all that torque, sometimes you can snatch a hamstring off the bone. It's just the nature of, these guys, how strong, how big, how fast they are. It's just one of those things. So hopefully he takes his time, and that would be my suggestion, to take your time. It is what it is at this point, and there's no guarantee that when he comes back that you know they're going to have any opportunity to be a playoff team. Great win for them against the Pittsburgh Steelers, though. I will say that a much needed win. They're 3-4 right now. This division is pretty much still up. I think Pittsburgh, I don't believe are as good as we've seen. They're 4-2. Cincinnati 3-4 here, and give ownership and management credit for making a change and going out and getting Joe Flacco. And what does that say about the Cleveland Browns? Obviously, it wasn't Flacco. So he's producing. He threw the ball 47 times in this game, 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked twice. That's what you need. And I think as long as they can just keep themselves in ball games and they can get a little bit more out of their defense, they might still be able to make the playoffs. I mean, Baltimore isn't doing anything right now. Cleveland, I believe that was a surprise win, but in ways it's not, because I think Miami is worse than what people believe that they are. They're kind of in Jets territory. So, yeah, I think that's fair, and it's proper that they did what they needed to do to get a solid quarterback so they can start trying to win games. Because it's right now I think after this week it's 10 games left. So you go on a decent run, and right at this point, I think what you're trying to do if you're Cincinnati is let's shoot to try to win the division. I mean, I really don't think Pittsburgh is as good as they are. I mean, what is their track record? Their track record is that they finish 500, because Tomlin has never had a losing season, but he also don't win in the playoffs. So you can bank on the Steelers at least being 500. So you just have to be 500 or better. And I might be pushing it, but I think you probably could get in the playoffs at 500 with the way people are playing in the AFC. The NFC is a lot stronger division this year. Kansas City's back on a roll, but again, they played the Los Angeles Raiders. I mean, are we giving them credit for beating the Raiders, the team that they should beat? I mean, there's really no credit there. The Raiders are a bad football team. And I don't think they have the right coach in place. And I think me and Showtime were talking about that on the morning preview show that we do here on TikTok exclusively at 9 o'clock on Sundays. And they're just a bad football team. I don't think they have the right coach. I think that Geno's lack of success has a lot to do with coaching and very little to do with him. But he's not playing like the Seattle version of Geno Smith, and that's a problem. But Chiefs are getting their weapons back. You got Xavier Worthy that came back a couple of weeks ago. Rice came back this week, 7 catches, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, they got Juju involved. They got Worthy involved. They got Thornton involved. They were spreading the ball around. And now that they got their weapons back, it's going to be interesting to see how their season maturates. I still think they could do better running the football. Pacheco, 15 carries, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. They had a plethora of guys. They'd like to do a lot of end arounds and simulations of run. And that's going to be the key. I think if you can stop the run, your best bet is probably putting it on Pat's back. And I know you're like, no, that's not going to work. No, that's not cool. I think it can be. I think you can try at least. I think stopping the run, making them one-dimensional, and then it's what they're going to do. And then it's your job to, with sound technique and proper execution, to try to force them into some turnovers and some 3-and-outs. And we've seen that it's been done even when they've had all their pieces. We see that it can be done. So I'm not I'm not the one that says it can't be done, because it can be. It can be. We are at 4:30, so we are going to go to a break. We really enjoy and like what we're doing here and what they're doing over there with Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall, and they come on every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on the NHRA Fast channels. I do not have who is going to be the guest this week. Probably will not have that until next week. So we'll announce that on the Not Bland Show here live Tuesday, as we have Richard Freeman with an announcement for his team, breaking news for his team. And we'll have Spencer Hyde, a guy who is really attacking this Rookie of the Year deal and is probably the front runner for that. We'll be talking to those people as well. So here we are with the commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue our NFL talk. Again, like I said, Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the NHRA Fast channels. That is NHRA's free channels on Roku, Fire TV, Sling, Tubi, and wherever else you can find NHRA's fast free channels. Well, man, the Minnesota Vikings had an opportunity to beat the Eagles. They did. Carson Wentz has played quite well. He's almost played as well as he did when he was with the Eagles, where he started. But it just wasn't enough. And I think that the Philadelphia Eagles got fortunate. I don't think they are the team that won the Super Bowl last year. I think they are a vulnerable team, especially on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball, especially in the front seven. Everybody tried to wish away, and they tried to underestimate the fact that those losses, that those people they let go, those linebackers they let go, those pieces they let go, part of the nucleus of the rotation was not going to affect this football team. And they didn't replace them with anyone. And it has affected this football team. I think the loss of now Saints head coach, is a big loss, because when we watched before, his name will come to my head here in a minute. I always do this. It's I guess it's part of old age. But when he was in Dallas, Kellen Moore was in Dallas, he was really good offensive coordinator. Probably leaned more on pass than he did run there, and it probably should have been what he was doing with the Philadelphia Eagles. But for whatever reason, I felt like he ruined the Chargers, and he goes over to Philly as an offensive coordinator, does an excellent job, and learns to lean on the run. Think about before he got there. Brian Johnson was then the coordinator, and Nick Sirianni had some say-so in those plays that were called. And when Nick Sirianni had that ability, they were really pass-heavy, and they did not run the ball as much as they should. Now, Brian Johnson took the fall for their lack or their inability to win playoff games because of that formula. Kellen Moore comes in, it changes, Kellen Moore leaves, and what are we seeing? The same stuff we saw before Kellen Moore got there. And I think that combination versus the combination of the defense really not being stellar, and they don't have great corners against good football teams, that's going to be a problem. Do I think they are the best team in the NFC East? Yes. Dallas, what we saw yesterday was an anomaly. If you go back and look, Washington has been struggling a little bit, especially defensively. But, no excuses. I felt like they put enough points on the board to win the ball game. In every game that they've lost, their offense has put enough points on the ball, up on the board to win a ball game. But when your defense can't stop anybody, that's a mega problem because they're giving up more points than you can score. And I think that's where we're at with the Eagles at times against good football teams. So they were able to pull off and get the win. They're 5-2 within the NFC East. Um, Dallas jumps ahead because they've got that stupid tie that they have on their record. They're 3-3-1. Washington 3-4, and of course the Giants, being the Giants. This is why I don't think they'll ever be successful, man. Like, I really don't care for the coaching staff. I don't. I think Brian Daboll is a little arrogant, um, and sometimes I feel like the entire organization is still living off the back of Eli Manning, and you let go a guy in Saquon Barkley, which I thought was a big mistake, and really a big mistake when you had Daniel Jones as your quarterback. That was his saving grace. That's what made him good. I mean, obviously, look over there with the Colts and see how well he's doing because he has a running game. And now Jackson Dart playing excellent football. But the problem with this team is that they are still undisciplined and they have the personality of their coach, in my opinion. Very undisciplined. You allowed 33 points. 33 points in the fourth quarter. Yes, 33 points, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of stinking points in the fourth quarter. And you lose the ball game. You dominated most of the game. I mean, Jackson Dart played well. He's been playing well each and every week. He's had a few mistakes, and that's to be expected. He's a rookie. He's not, he's not the elite version of a lot of these quarterbacks in their first year, but he's played pretty darn well. I mean, asking your rookie to throw 33 times, putting up 3 touchdowns and an INT isn't bad. Just the INT came at the wrong time. Could have been the catalyst that turned the tide, maybe. So, again, I'm not really a huge fan of the Giants. And they do Giants do giant things and found a way to snatch the defeat from the jaws of victory. Good deal to keep fighting, though, for the Denver Broncos. So, but they are beatable. Just can't let them back in the ball game. Washington, and this is something that I want to talk about too. When your defense is struggling the way it is for 7 weeks, and you see some of the same problems, what are we seeing? We're seeing guys that are having big time miscommunication on the back end. Seems like they don't know exactly what they're doing or who's supposed to be doing what. You have linebackers that are on. You are giving the opposing team offenses mismatches by having linebackers on wide receivers. It seems like your defensive coordinator doesn't know when to play zone and when to play man. And then I see a lot of fans blaming Bobby Wagner, blaming this player, blaming that player. Look, when you have these type of mistakes, and again, this is a team defensively that is better than it was last year, has better talent than it was last year. But there's 2 things that can be a problem for a head coach or a defensive coordinator and reason why that your defense is not working effectively. One, you're asking them to do too much. And when you ask them to do too much, it becomes not a reaction game, it's a thinking game. And when you start thinking, you're always a step behind. And the offense, being a step ahead, usually you give up explosive plays on a regular. And what have we seen from this defense? Giving up explosive plays. Guys are out of position, overextending themselves, not doing their job, but trying to be a hero and try to do their job and someone else's. That doesn't work in the game of football. Offenses exploit that, and they use it. And that's why they're getting gashed in the run game. When you see these same problems, it is not a player issue. It's a coaching issue. And I believe that Joe Witt Jr., through 7 weeks, has continued to say all the right things, give all the right one-liners, and then go out there and produce the same garbage that we've been seeing for 7 weeks. And then have the nerve to say that we. Nah, it's not a we anymore, bro. It's you. It's you. And if it was me, I'd figure out a way to put my players in the best position to be successful and not ask them to do things that they're not good at. Bobby Wagner is not and never has been good in coverage. That's not his MO. That's not what he does. But yet you continually to put him in a position to where he is likely to fail. Everybody talks about Marshawn Lattimore and the fact that he's not playing well. But you know what? Go back and look at New Orleans Saints, Marshawn Lattimore, and look at what they're asking him to do here in Washington. Guess what? They're asking him to do something he does not do well. Now, if you ask him to do what he was doing with New Orleans, I think you see a better player. So again, I ask you, whose fault is it? This isn't a player problem. This is a coaching problem. So now, 7 weeks in, we are at a crossroads. What do? Do you hand the man his pink slip and send him on his way? Or does DQ just simply need to take over the responsibilities and make the calls? You say, well, if he's going to make the calls, then what's the use of Joe Witt being there? And I get that. Maybe give the guy an opportunity. Because, see, Dan Quinn defenses did several things very well. You never saw your key rushers or linebackers lining up in the same positions. They would disguise and mix things up to where you didn't know where their premier players were coming from within the defensive front seven. They gave you different looks. They also ran stunts and twists to try to mix things up and throw your offensive line off and create havoc. These guys line up in the same spot, and I can prove it. Go back, look at the all 22. Go back to the last 6 games before this game, and you'll see that all those guys line up in the same spot. When you got your pass rushers coming in, they're lining in the same spot. They're not mixing it up at all. So guess what? If I know that as a coordinator, I can scheme for that, and I can counteract that because I know that's exactly what I'm going to get for 60 minutes. So now it comes down to of a thing of winning up front. And you're not going to be able to do that all the time because those guys on the other side get paid too. Those guys get paid top dollar to go out and win football games as well. Their coaching staff goes out and gets paid to win football games as well. This is the NFL. All right? This isn't the UFL. This isn't intramurals. It's the premier of the premier. So you got to do something different. And if you're just going to hand it to them on a silver platter, well, you're just making it super easy for them. And then fans don't see the bigger picture and they blame the players. Well, I'm here to tell you, I'm not gonna accept that. For me, if it's me, I think Joe Witt Jr. needs to hit the road. They had worse last year. Very little talent, very little rotation. And it seems like he doesn't know what to do with the talent and the rotation that he's had. I mean, why is it that Johnny Newton comes in, makes a play, and all of a sudden is exited stage left? And you don't see him for a while. He's put up a sack, he's put up a tackle for a loss, and then he just goes MIA for several plays. Utilize the guys that are going to get you negative plays and be disruptive. But don't make it look the same way every single time. That might work in high school. That's not going to work in the NFL. So if it was me, he's been given ample opportunity. And this team felt they had a Super Bowl window. And I believe that. I believe that. Injuries have not helped this situation, especially at the wide receiver position. But again, I don't want to hear the excuses because that's what they are. And at the end of the day, when you look at the amount of points that this football team has scored offensively, it's enough to win football games. And I don't want to hear excuses about players and talent because I see a lot of defenses with less doing more. It's coaching. And until that changes, I think you're going to see much of the same. And it doesn't get any easier. I think they play the Chiefs on Monday night. So it's either Dan gets involved or we'll be looking at another loss. Not sure what the deal is and what the injury is of Jaden Daniels. Have not heard. So I have no information on that. But it didn't look to be very serious. Didn't look to be very serious at all. I'll close this out with two things. We'll also. I think I talked about the Tampa Bay game, but I'll talk about the Houston game real quick too. Carolina playing good ball, just being gritty, man. It's not pretty. It's not pretty being gritty, but it gets you W's, and that's what they're doing. They're going out there, they're getting wins, and a 13-6 win. You might say, 13-6 against the Jets, but I think the Jets are a good football team, but they're a football team that's trying to grow, and they still have some work to do. First year, quarterback play is kind of inconsistent. The run game is not all that consistent. There's just a lot of things offensively they don't do well at the moment. And those inconsistencies against good football teams will get you losses. But they are a scrappy bunch, and Carolina was able to come out with that win. Big deal there. Big deal there for them. Pat says, need 55. I got Williams, Laporta, Shroud, and Collins. Can I win? Because of Williams and Laporta, I think you do. CJ Stroud, he's Jekyll and Hyde. And as his offensive line goes, he goes. That Seattle defense is tough, man. That Seattle defense is tough. Fortunate, I think they are in Seattle. They're in Seattle too. Those are two things that don't help a young guy like CJ Stroud. They're fourth in sacks is the Seahawks. They're fifth in defensive interceptions with 7. They're -1 in the turnover differential, which is 17. Surprisingly, Houston is 10th with 5 interceptions in the league. 23rd, though, in the sack department. Time of possession they seem to own 31-34, which is surprising. Because if you're not paying attention and watching the games of Houston, you're looking at their record and you're like, they're not very good. But they do hold time of possession, and they have, they're 20th in points. 21 points a game is their average. Seattle 5th, 27.7 points a game. So you kind of see how close that narrow gap is of being good to great. So I don't look at the point differential and how many points guys are scoring per game, because it varies per game. So with that said, I think it's going to be difficult with CJ, but he's got some tools, with Nico Collins being able to be available and all of that. So I think you're going to be able to win, but I think your Detroit players are what's going to get you over the hump. And with having Nico Collins, I think he's going to be your target. He's his favorite target, and I think he will find him. There's only so many people you can stop, and the good ones you can only contain. You never stop them. So I think he's going to get enough points to be able to win you some ball games and win you this game here, especially because of your Detroit players as well. But Collins, Laporta, and Williams, I think will do just enough. Even if you don't get a ton from CJ, But I don't know how your league is scored. Leagues I play in, the my league, the quarterback play a touchdown is 4 points. So if it's 6 points, he's going to at least get one or two to Collins. So he's going to at least have two touchdowns there as well. So that's going to help you out. So it depends on how your league is scored, but I think you can win without CJ Stroud. So yeah, man, we'll see how it all goes. I'm looking at Seattle winning this football game. I think it's going to be closer than people think because I think at the end of the day, the Houston Texans are a team that fights. They're not just going to lay down. So I think this will be a close game, but I think this game favors the Seattle Seahawks. If you guys stay up and watch it, more power to you. But I will not be staying up for this one. I need rest. So I will not be staying up for that game at all. If you haven't, if you weren't here, I'll touch on the Tampa Bay game just a little bit. Of course, both teams provide weapons. Mike Evans is coming back for Tampa Bay, and I think this game favors Tampa Bay. I think they have a very good shot at winning this game. I think Baker Mayfield is the X factor in all of this. And I say that because Baker has the ability to break off one of these Houdini runs. He runs over a guy, then he just jumps up and flexes on everybody, and the team goes berserk. And after that, it seems like that offense is humming even more so than it was before. And I think they put up enough points to beat the Detroit Lions. But I think it's going to be a game where both offenses are going to get their points because that's what they do. You know, these are two really good offenses. So, yeah, that's the way I see it. That's my story. That's what I'm sticking to. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring this thing to a close. We're almost at the 1 hour mark, but we're going to bring this thing to a close. And like I said yesterday, or earlier in this show, we will be live tomorrow on the tube, on all of the channels of the Not Blank Show. We will have two guests on tomorrow. Richard Freeman of Elite Motorsports will be on. Living Under a Rock, they have a Top Fuel team now. That driver is Tony Stewart. And they will be making a big announcement tomorrow in regards to that team. They already made one announcement. Mike Green is your crew chief, the leader in the bunch that will be calling the shots on this Top Fuel dragster. I have my thoughts on that. And they'll be making another announcement regarding this team. We also have on Spencer Hyde. Spencer Hyde is pretty much, I believe, the front runner for this Rookie of the Year for the NHRA and its pro class. So it's going to be interesting to see what exactly plays out, but I think he's got a real good shot at winning it. I do have a vote. I take it seriously, although others last year did not take it seriously. I did not agree. I think it was last year. I did not agree with the call that they made. I thought it was a favoritism call and very, 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 very weak when there were other players statistically and according to the rules fit that narrative. So that's all I want to say. Well, ladies and gentlemen, of you who are watching from our other platforms, thank you for tuning into the Not Bland Show. Thank you to our sponsor, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Thank you to Everything Nitro, Drag Race Reference, and of course our affiliate, VTR and Sports, powered by ESPN Radio. They're